Fankhauser with the University of Florida and IFAS.
That's right.
Now, what's that stand for?
So UFIFAS, the IFAS acronym is the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. So we are like a College of Agriculture, except we are an institute with a vice president leading the institute and 3 mission deans. Mission dean of research, a dean of academics, and a dean of extension.
And we have had a wonderful 3-day experience. Tell us about what happened here.
Okay, this 3-day experience is part of the Research Center Administrative Society, which is a professional society made up of those that either manage research centers or are involved in ag experiment station administration across the land grant system. So we had about 85 people registered to come from the various states down to the Tampa, Brandon area of Florida. That's kind of the Gulf Coast, halfway down the state area of Florida, and spent 3 days touring and hearing from speakers all involved in agricultural research administration and center administration.
And we saw everything from vegetables, strawberries were probably the hit, to honeybees, to cattle, to citrus. How many different crops are grown in Florida?
Well, in total, that's a great question. We have about 300 different commodities in the state of Florida, with 100 of them being pretty prominent. Commodities you may not think of. We're number 3 or number 4 in peanut production in the United States. Of course, Georgia's that big peanut production state, but up in the panhandle of Florida, North Florida area, we are a significant player in peanut production. Citrus is the historical crop. We're down because of the greening disease, but it's still very prominent.
And if you're all researchers to figure out greening, that's a multi-billion-dollar discovery.
It is. Now what we got to do is teach these millennials and others how to drink more orange juice. But certainly citrus orange production on the juice side of the business is our iconic crop. And we'd really like to crack that nut, solve the greening disease issue in the state of Florida, and provide more high-quality American-produced orange juice.
Because if we lose those, there's only 2 folks that do the squeezing.
That's right.
If we lose those, that's it.
That's right. If we lose our last 2 juice processors, we're going to have to rely on very small markets, small sales, point of sales processors, and much of that may move to Brazil, then where you'd be getting your orange juice from, and it may be a concentrate, and it may not be fresh orange juice in the state of Florida. And that's unfortunate.
And what really impressed me was that the blueberry growers wanted you all to do something, and they put the money where their mouth was. They supported you all, and now you have a wonderful breeding program.
That's right. Breeding of blueberries was really complicated. It took decades to develop southern high-bush blueberry varieties that would perform in the state of Florida. But because of that, we have a very, very established market in the state that provides blueberries at a time where most of the rest of the world can't provide blueberries.
Oh, that's such forward thinking. Now, one of the things that really excites me is that all of us research administrators got to see what University of Florida is doing. And we took away from that, and we go back to our institution, and we try to learn from that and try to learn from each other. And that's really what the spirit of the RCAS is.
Absolutely. We gather together, we talk about limited resources, but trying to maximize the impact for the benefit of our stakeholders. So just like the University of Missouri, we have research centers located around the state. We call them research and education centers, and we have tenure track faculty at those centers that work on local problems, whether it's strawberries in the Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay area, or peanut production issues up in the panhandle of Florida. So having local impact is important, and also engaging with your local growers. We have very strong associations, grower associations, and us in administration have to make that effort to stay engaged with them in order to solve their problems and get that support from the growers.
And those associations are so important, and I think folks took away from that, wow, we really need to work with others to solve these problems. We
Right.
just can't do it alone. The universities cannot do it alone.
They can't do it alone, and the great synergy is if you have a really strong relationship with the grower organizations like the Florida Cattlemen's Association, they will advocate for you in the State House, whether it's in Columbia or Springfield. I forget where your state capital is.
Jefferson City.
See, I didn't even get it right after 2 tries. Or Tallahassee, Florida, where our state capital is. Very important, critical for new initiatives, for renovations, and to grow your research and extension program.
Now, what's unique about you, Jerry, you spent a first career at Purdue, which is very similar to Missouri, corn, soybean, livestock type place. But now, since 2017, you've been at the University of Florida. What do you say can you gather from that information or that experience that helps Missouri, because you have big impact on the Missouri Ag Experiment Station?
Well, I try to have that impact, and I think the state of Florida, the great growers we have are kind of like the same growers in the state of Missouri, state of Indiana. We just have tans, right? Because we have all this great sunshine. But really, having that experience working at the Indiana State Experiment Station, Purdue University, I spent 17 years managing the outlying centers, gave me the knowledge and the experience to come to Florida and help elevate the work we're doing across the state of Florida. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been involved in external reviews, including the state of Missouri, with the College of Agriculture, CAFNR is what you call it, at the University of Missouri, and asking those questions, some of them tough, but you know, these external reviews, it's a struggle to go through them, but what you want to do is emerge better, to move your mission activities forward with the changing agricultural environment, foreign competition, new emerging commodities, better genetics on the cattle side, and how to strategically plan your centers so they can best deliver that mission effort.
And you learned about what we've done. After your review, we took your suggestions. You and Ken Scaife, who also is a big part of this institution, and we incorporated that. Can I ask you a question? Are you proud of us?
Absolutely. I'm proud of all the land-grant institutions, the University of Missouri. You had the intestinal fortitude to do this difficult activity, what we call an external review, and this was all the way up to the governor's office, really the president of the university, and I know it's painful. Some tough decisions were made, but those decisions, and some of the same decisions that Purdue were made during the Graham-Rudman years in the mid-1980s, but what Purdue Agriculture did that was difficult back in the mid-1980s, they emerged a better research center system because of that. I'm just confident you all are going to emerge with your REECs as a better system around the state of Missouri.
And you can see that already. We had 4 of our new RECC directors here at this meeting.
That's right.
And it was a great experience for them. They learned a lot, and they saw what University of Florida has done, but also the interaction from all over the United States.
That's right. You know, University of Nebraska was well represented here. They're an Institute of Agriculture. They have REECs around the state too. That's the benefit of a meeting like this. We're all dealing with constrained budgets, some real challenges, but we're working hard to make faculty successful, and we hire young tenure-track faculty. They're on what we call a tenure-track clock, and we have to provide them optimum resources so they can be successful. That's what we do around the state, and if we do our jobs right as administrators, we have successful faculty.
Well, Jerry, we can't thank you enough for what you've done for us in the review, but also the experience that we've had here in Florida, the inspiration that we've got now to take back to Missouri and all across the nation to make our ag experiment stations that much better and serve our stakeholders.
Well, it's been a real joy. You know, I've known you, Tim, for decades probably,
yes.
You know, through the American Society of Agronomy, and I'm passionate about the land-grant mission. No doubt you are too. This is what we do. We help each other across the system, and the University of Missouri is better for it, especially in their experiment station office, and hopefully us down in Florida, we can benefit from what you all bring to the table when we have these great professional meetings here.
All right. Well, thank you, Jerry, and we look forward to next year's meeting.
Good deal, and go Gators.
All right. Cut that out.